Hello students, today we are going to learn the first unit prose, The Portrait of a Lady by Kushwant Singh. Once again I am telling you that I am going to make it bilingual so that both Tamil medium and English medium students will be benefited. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம first unit உள்ள prose, The Portrait of a Lady by Kushwant Singh அந்த lesson நம்ம படிக்க போறோம். Portrait, what is the meaning of the word portrait? Portrait na picture. It means a picture of a lady. Who is that lady? About which lady this Kushwant Singh is going to speak about? எந்த லேடியை பற்றி அவர் பேசுறாரு அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது Kushwant Singh he is speaking about his bond between him and his grandmother. அவருக்கும் அவருடைய கிராண்ட்மதருக்கும் நடுவில் இருந்த ஒரு இணைப்பு பற்றி அவர் இந்த லெசன்ல ரொம்ப அழகா எடுத்து சொல்றாரு. ஓகே, you would have heard about two terms, nuclear family and joint family. Do you know the difference between nuclear family and joint family, children? Nuclear family means only mother, father and children alone. These days most of the families are nuclear families. Joint family, you know, apart from mother, father and children, parents will be there, grandparents will be there. In some families even uncle, aunt, cousins are also joined together. Now அப்போ உங்களுக்கு புரியுதா? நியூக்ளியர் ஃபேமிலின்னு சொல்லும்போது அம்மா அப்பா பிள்ளைங்க மட்டும். ஜாயிண்ட் ஃபேமிலின்னு சொல்லும்போது அம்மா அப்பா பிள்ளைங்களை தாண்டி கிராண்ட் ஃபாதர், கிராண்ட் மதர், அங்கிள், ஆண்ட், கசின்ஸ் எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்தது ஒரு ஜாயிண்ட் ஃபேமிலி நம்ம சொல்றோம். These days we see many families are nuclear family. Just can you tell me from which family you are coming? A nuclear family or a joint family? Yes, some of you are coming from nuclear family and some of you are coming from joint family. In both the families, both benefits and negatives and positives are there. ரெண்டு ஃபேமிலியும் பாசிட்டிவ் சைடும் இருக்கு, நெகட்டிவ் சைடும் இருக்கு. ஓகே, now Kushwant Singh, he lived in the joint family. So that means his father, mother, himself and his grandmother. The grandmother also lived with him. Okay, now what sort of a beautiful bond they had between them? That's what in this lesson he is telling us. Okay, in his remembrance, the grandmother was always very, very old. Okay, for 20 years, his remembrance goes up to 20 years. For 20 years, he is able to think his grandmother as a very old lady. ஒரு 20 வருஷமா அவங்க grandmother பெரிய old lady தான் அவருக்கு ஞாபகமே இருக்கு. With a lot of wrinkles on the face. The face was puckered. What is the meaning of the word puckered? Puckered means with a lot of wrinkles. Okay, crisscross lines running from everywhere to everywhere. எல்லா டைரக்ஷன்ல வந்து முகத்துல வந்து wrinkles ஓடுது. அந்த மாதிரி வந்து ஒரு முகத்துல சுருக்கம் விழுந்த ஒரு ஃபேஸ். ஓகே, that is called puckered face. And she was a short lady and she was fat and she was slightly bent. கொஞ்சம் ஷார்ட்டா, கொஞ்சம் குண்டா, ஸ்லைட்டா பெண்ட் ஆன மாதிரியே இருப்பாங்க அந்த கிராண்ட். But people used to say that maybe his father used to say, Kushwant Singh, that she was very pretty when she was very young. அவங்க அப்பா சொல்லியிருப்பாங்க போல இருக்கு, அவங்க வந்து ரொம்ப யங்கா இருக்கும்போது அவங்க வந்து ரொம்ப பியூட்டிஃபுல்லா இருப்பாங்க. But he could not imagine because he has never seen his grandmother young. ஒரு யங்கா அவர் பார்த்ததே இல்லை. ஸோ வந்து அவரால் அப்படி இமேஜின் பண்ணி பார்க்க முடியல. Then about his grandfather, he has seen only the portrait of his grandfather. What is the meaning of portrait, children? Picture or photo that was hung above the mantelpiece. What is the meaning of mantelpiece? A shelf that is projecting from the fireplace. ஒரு ஏதாவது ஒரு இடத்துல இருந்து மேல ப்ரொஜெக்ட் ஆகி வரக்கூடிய ஒரு ஷெல்ஃபுக்கு பேர் தான் வந்து மேண்டல் பீஸ். அதுக்கு மேல அவருடைய போட்டோ இருக்கு. The photo, he looked as though he's 100 years old. அவர் பார்த்தா 100 வயசு ஓல்டான மாதிரி. He had a long white beard that came up to his chest and he wore a turban, தலையில ஒரு தலப்பா கட்டிருக்காரு. And he wore loose garments, ரொம்ப லூஸான ஜிப்பான் மாதிரி போட்ட மாதிரி ஒரு photo he has seen that. So in that portrait only he has seen his grandfather. Okay, coming to his grandmother. Okay, the grandmother, already I told you, she was a very short, fat and slightly bent lady and she always kept one hand in her waist. இடுப்புல ஒரு கை வச்சிருப்பாங்க to balance the stoop. What is stoop? Stoop na bend. She was always bending because of her age, you know, she was bending. So to balance the stoop, what she was doing, she was always having one hand in the waist and in another hand she had beads, rosary. அப்படின்னா வந்து இந்த ஜெபம் பண்ணிட்டே இருப்பாங்க இல்லையா, நிறைய மணியா வச்சு ஒரு மாலை, அதுதான் வந்து ரோசரி பீட்ஸ். ஸோ ஷி வாஸ் ஆல்வேஸ் ஹேவிங் பீட்ஸ் இன் ஹர் ஹேண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் ஷி வாஸ் சாண்டிங் ப்ரேயர்ஸ். Inaudible prayer. What is the meaning of inaudible prayer? She was telling to herself, வெளியில யாருக்கும் ரொம்ப கேட்காது. ஓகே, அவங்களுக்குள்ளே அவங்க சொல்றது inaudible. She was always chanting inaudible prayer and she wore a very, very pure white cloth. நல்ல ஒரு ஒயிட் கிளாத் அவங்க எப்பவுமே வேர் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. வாட் the pajama that she was wearing was in white color. Okay, now speaking about the bond between this narrator and grandmother, how was it? What happened few years before, the parents of Kushwant Singh, they left the village and they went to city. அவங்க முதல்ல சிட்டிக்கு போயிடுறாங்க அம்மா அப்பா. So they left the narrator with the grandmother in the house here, in the village. So every day grandmother used to wake up him early in the morning and dress him, get ready for the school. She gave breakfast and she prepared the material that should be carried to the school. That is a slate and an ink pot and a pen. All these things she always kept ready for the child, and she bundled everything and she gave it to the narrator. Every day morning it happened. So what she was doing, she woke up that boy, she got ready that boy for school, and she gave breakfast to the child, and she also kept the things ready for the child, and she took this child to the school. தினம் காலையில் அவனுக்கு எழுப்பி விட்டு அவனுக்கு ரெடி பண்ணி சாப்பாடு கொடுத்து அவனுக்கு வேண்டிய ஸ்கூலுக்கு வேண்டிய ஸ்லேட்டு, பென்னு, இங்கு, புக் என்னெல்லாம் தேவையோ அதெல்லாம் ஒரு பண்டில் பண்ணி எடுத்துக்கிட்டு அவங்க அந்த பையனை வந்து ஸ்கூலுக்கு கொடுக்கும். தட் இஸ் அ பியூட்டிஃபுல் திங். She didn't leave the child like that. She took the boy to the school. The school was attached to a temple. அந்த ஸ்கூல் வந்து ஒரு கோயிலோட சேர்ந்தது. Okay, it was attached to a temple. And in the temple, the pujari only taught the lesson. அங்க குரு தான் வந்து அங்க lesson teach பண்ணுவார். So what did the boys learn there? Okay, the boys actually, the many boys were there. They sat in 2 rows, okay, facing each other. And the guru taught them alphabets and also many prayers in the form of song. நிறைய வந்து prayers வந்து பாட்டு மூலமா அவங்க சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்க. And they also learned alphabets. Chorusல they were singing these alphabets and the prayers. So that was a lesson taught to them. And meantime, what his grandmother did, there was a scripture room. She went inside the scripture room and she was reading the scriptures there. So when she finished reading and these boys finished learning, they both came back home. ஓகே, என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க, அங்கே போகிறாங்க, அங்கே ஆல்ஃபபெட்ஸும் ப்ரேயர்ஸும் சொல்லி கொடுக்குறாங்க, பாட்டாக அந்த பிள்ளைங்களாம் பாடுறாங்க. அந்த பாட்டி வந்து அவங்களுக்குன்னு ஒரு ரூமில் ஸ்கிரிப்சர் ரூமில் அவங்க படிக்கிறாங்க. ஸோ லைக் தட் திங்ஸ் வர் கோயிங். அண்ட் வைல் கம்மிங் பேக் வாட் ஷி டிட், always she bundled lot of stale chapatis. Okay, stale na konja padasana chapati. Okay, stale chapati she packed, and while coming back she used to make the chapati into small pieces, and she used to put it for the dogs that were coming behind them. அவங்களுக்கு பின்னாடி வந்துட்டு இருந்த நாய்க்கு அது போடும். So the dogs are waiting for them near the temple's doorstep. அந்த டெம்பிளோடைய அந்த டோர் கிட்டே வெயிட் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கும் அந்த டாக்ஸ் அந்த பாட்டி வரதுக்காக. So every time she was throwing that, what happened, the dogs are fighting with each other, growling and fighting with each other for the chapatis. அப்படியே பின்னாடி சண்டை போட்டு அந்த சப்பாத்தி சாப்பிட்டு அந்த நாய்ங்கெல்லாம் வந்துட்டே இருக்கும். Finally they reached home. Okay, this was happening every day like. Then one fine day, the parents of Kushwant Singh, they said that now things are settled in the city, and they sent for a call. They asked them to join them. So இவங்க பாட்டியும் this grandmother and the child, both of them went to city there. Once they went to city, things started to change. Villageல இருக்க வரைக்கும் இவங்க ரெண்டு பேர் தான், they both were very close friends like. So once they went to city, how things started changing, you see. They were given a room. One room was allotted for this grandmother and the boy. ஒரு room அந்த grandmotherக்கும் boyக்கும் allot பண்ணிட்டாங்க. Then what happened? He was sent to an English school which was not attached to temple. And a motor bus came every day to take this boy. So grandmother did not have the role of taking the boy to the school. So what she did, she woke up the boy early in the morning. She kept the things ready for the boy. அவனுக்கு எழுப்புறது, அவனுக்கு வேண்டிய திங்ஸ் எல்லாம் எடுத்து வைக்கிறது, அதெல்லாம் பண்ணாங்க. But she could not accompany the boy to school. அங்க போற அந்த வேலையில. And one more thing, he was sent to English school. So when he came back, the grandmother asked about the lessons taught in the school. The boy told all the new English words, and he spoke a lot about the science, about gravity, Archimedes principle, like so many things which his old grandmother could not understand. அந்த பையன் ஸ்கூல்ல இருந்து வந்த உடனே என்னெல்லாம் படிச்சான்னு கேட்கும் பொழுது அவங்க என்னென்ன படிச்சாலும் அந்த பையன் சொல்றான், இங்கிலீஷ் வேர்ட்ஸ், science principles சொல்றான். ஆனா அந்த grandmother understood. So slowly she started losing her interest in listening to this boy. The boy was also busy with this learning process. அவங்களுக்கும் அதில் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்ல, இவனும் வந்து அவனுடைய லேர்னிங் ப்ராசஸ்ல அவன் வந்து அதிக இன்ட்ரெஸ்டோட he started moving in this thing. Then what happened? Years rolled by. Then one fine day he said that he is going to learn music, but she didn't show any interest in that. Slowly the talk between the boy and grandmother stopped. Now one more thing, the grandmother did not have any stray dogs to feed. முந்தி அந்த கிராமத்தில் இருக்கும்போது she was feeding chapatis to the dogs. Now no more dogs. So what she did, instead of feeding the dogs, in the courtyard, in the city house, in the courtyard, she started feeding the sparrows. அந்த கோட்டையால வந்து நிறைய ஸ்பாரோஸ் புறா வர ஆரம்பிச்சது. So she took a lot of bread, she broke it into small crumbs and she threw it to the sparrows. So thousands of sparrows came to the courtyard. So in the afternoon she spent feeding the sparrows. So இங்க வந்து ஆஃப்டர்நூன்ல அவங்க ஸ்பாரோவுக்கு ஃபீட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிக்கிறாங்க. Then what happened? This boy completed schooling and he joined university. When he joined university, more things started to change. He was given a separate room. So that relationship between grandmother and the boys got snapped. Cut out. In a வேற room க்கு போயிட்டாங்க. Yeah, so he has got another room. Grandmother was in another room. Grandmother isolated herself. அவங்களே ஐசோலேட்னா தனிமையாக்கிடுறாங்க. Okay, she did not talk with anybody. All the time she was chanting the prayers. Okay, she was always telling some prayers, inaudible na kekka mudiyadha alavukku prayers she was chanting there. And she was given a spinning wheel. அப்படினா நூல் நூக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு ஸ்பின்னிங் வீல் முந்தி காலத்துல வச்சிருப்பாங்க. That was given, and every time she was spinning the wheel day and night. She was doing it. Only in the afternoon, the break time, she came and what did she do? She started feeding the sparrows. Some sparrows perched on her shoulders. Perched na and then the kaal vechi ukkaru, perched on the shoulders. Some sat on the head. And what is it? Often they had frivolous rebukes. Rebukes in சொல்லும்போது சின்ன செல்லமா frivolous rebukes in சொல்லும்போது செல்லமா திட்டுறது அப்படிலாம் பண்ணும்பொழுது like that she had a happy time. That was a happy moment. She spent that half an hour. Then what happened after this Kushwan Singh completed university? Now he is planning to go abroad to continue his further studies. And he thought that grandmother will not come to the railway station, But what happened? Grandmother came. Okay, grandmother came to the station, but she did not show any emotions. Okay, she kept on chanting the praise சொல்லிட்டே இருக்காங்க. எந்த எமோஷனையும் அவங்க காமிச்சிக்கல. Only one thing what she did, she just kissed his forehead. நெத்தியில ஒரு முத்தம் கொடுக்குறாங்க. This narrator cherished the moist imprint on his forehead. அந்த கொடுத்த அந்த முத்தத்தை வந்து அவர் ரொம்ப ரசிக்கிறாரு. அதை ரொம்ப நினைச்சு சந்தோஷப்படுறாரு. Otherwise this lady did not speak even a single word. But this narrator had a doubt whether after 5 years he'll be able to see the grandmother. But luckily she was alive. After 5 years he came back. He saw the grandmother in the same state. She did not look very old or young. She looked the same state. She came to the railway station to take this boy. Railway station வந்திருக்காங்க parents ஓட அந்த பையனை கூட்டி போறதுக்காக. He was very happy. Okay, so he thought that the grandmother will be very very happy because he has come back home after 5 years. But even that day, the most beautiful moment she spent was the time that she spent with the sparrows. The sparrows oda அவர் spend பண்ண time தான் வந்து ஒரு பெரிய டைமா அந்த grandmotherக்கு இருந்தது. In evening what happened? Suddenly she became ill. Ill means sick. Sick ஆயிட்டாங்க. Okay, திடீர்னு what did she do? She gathered the women are in the neighborhood. எல்லா பக்கத்துல இருக்க women எல்லாம் ஒண்ணா கூப்பிட்டு she started singing songs. She took a violated drum. Okay, and she started beating the drum. அடிச்சு பாடுறாங்க. The others only they were very unhappy because she was straining herself too much and she was singing. ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ரெயின் பண்ணி அவங்க பாடுறாங்கன்றதுக்காக மற்றவங்க எவ்வளோ தடுக்கிறாங்க. Some more they tried to persuade her, but she could not. That was the first time that she did not chant praise. அவரை பொறுத்தளவு நரேட்டரை பொறுத்தளவு அதுதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் அவர் வந்து எந்த ப்ரேயருமே சொல்லாமல் she started singing. And after a long time she was asked to come to the bed there, but she was ill. They sent for the doctor. Doctor came and examined that this is a simple mild fever only and she will be all right within 2-3 days. But the grandmother knew that her end was nearing. டாக்டர் முன்னாள்ல வந்து சரியாயிடுன்னு சொன்னா கூட கிராண்ட்மதருக்கு வந்து அவங்க எண்டு நியர் ஆகுதுன்றது அவங்களுக்கு நல்லா தெரியுது. ஸோ வாட் ஷி டிட், ஷி ஜஸ்ட் she was lying on the bed. அந்த பெட்ல அப்படியே படுத்திருக்காங்க. Then the narrator and the parents were around her. And the unexpected moment, okay, what happened? She stopped chanting the praise and the beads from her fingers fell off. திரும்பி பார்க்கும்போது அந்த லிப்ஸ் did not move. அதில் வந்து அந்த ப்ரேயர்ஸ் நின்று போச்சுன்னு தெரிஞ்சது. அந்த கையில் இருந்த இந்த ரோசரி இட் ஃபெல் டவுன், கீழே வந்துட்டு. ஸோ they knew that the end has come. Okay, now what did they do? They just covered her with a red shroud. What is the meaning of shroud, children? Shroud means cloth, or red color cloth எல்லாம் அவங்கள கவர் பண்ணுறாங்க. And she was finally cremated. Crematedனா அவங்கள வந்து அடக்கம் பண்ணிடுறாங்க. What happened? That day, thousands of sparrows came there to the courtyard. And they were all there, but there was no noise. Earlier, what happened, every day, how the situation used to be means, okay, every day when she was feeding the sparrows, thousands of sparrows came there, and there was a bedlam of chirping sound. The kicking sound, confused, some bedlam is confused, noisy, and sound. But at this moment, okay, the birds gathered there, but there was no chirping sound. Okay, there was perfect silence. The mother, Kushwan Singh's mother, took pity on the sparrows. She took some bread and she broke into small pieces, how the grandmother used to do, and she just threw it. But what happened? No, it was not picked up by the sparrows. The next day, the sweeper came and she cleaned everything and put all the breadcrumbs in the dustbin. So that means even the sparrows felt very sad about the demise of the grandmother. So this is a beautiful story, children. From the beginning till the end, you see, the narrator, how beautifully he described the bond between him and the grandmother. See, in the beginning we see that they talk a lot, they share many things, like that their friendship in the village. When they came to the city, when he started to grow big, when he started to show interest in his learning process, things started to change. That we are able to see. And there was less talk, but even then, there was a beautiful bondage. You see, the grandmother, she came to the railway station to leave the boy. She kissed the boy. Again, when they came back, she clasped his hand. There was no word spoken. Okay, but this kind of gestures shows how much love she had for the boy and the boy's love for the grandmother. So that is how we cherish so many relationships. We give importance to our friends, we give importance to our parents, even our grandparents, our uncle, aunt, our cousins. So many relationships are there. The relationship with the real love is something to be cherished forever. Like, நல்ல உண்மையான அன்போடு இருக்கிற எந்த உறவாக இருந்தாலும் அது பெரிய உறவு. நம்ம ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் தான் முக்கியம், பேரண்ட்ஸ் தான் முக்கியம் அப்படிலாம் கிடையாது. எந்த உறவாக இருந்தாலும் அன்போடு இருக்கும்பொழுது அது இட்ஸ் a beautiful relationship. That we should never forget, children. Okay, let us go through the beautiful words that we learned in this lesson. Okay, that will come under synonyms for you. What is the meaning of mantelpiece? I told you the grandfather's photo was hung above the mantelpiece. What is mantelpiece? A shelf projecting from the wall just above the fireplace. A shelf projecting from the wall just above the fireplace. ஒரு fireplace மேல ஒரு ப்ரொஜெக்ட் ஆகிற ஒரு ஷெல்ஃபுக்கு பேர் தான் வந்து mantelpiece. Okay, what is the meaning of the word persuade? Persuade அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது to convince, எப்படியாவது ஒத்துக்க வைக்கிறது. That is only called as persuade. Okay, what is the meaning of stoop? Stoop means bend. The lady was stooping, the grandmother was stooping அப்படின்னா அப்படியே பெண்ட் ஆகுறாங்க. Sometimes the tender plant stoop down அப்படின்னா அப்படி பெண்ட் ஆகுறது. Okay, that is only called as stoop. Okay, hobbled, she hobbled about the room. Hobbled அப்படின்னா அப்படியே தட்டு மாதிரி நடந்துக்கிட்டே போறதா வந்து என்னது hobbled. Okay, her face was puckered. What is puckered? Lot of wrinkles. puckered அப்படின்னா wrinkles, நிறைய சுருக்கங்கள் அந்த ஃபேஸ்ல இருக்கிறதா வந்து that is only called as puckered. Okay, these are the new words. I think we are learning. This first time we are hearing. Okay, first time we are hearing. One more, you can include even this word, children. Rebuke. Rebuke means scoldings. Rebuke means scoldings. Okay, sometimes the rebukes will be severe. Here in this lesson, the author is using the word frivolous rebukes. Frivolous means chellamathira. When the sparrows came and when thousands of sparrows came, there will be little fight for the food and all those things. Okay, for that the lady rebuked. Okay, perch. What is the meaning of perch? அந்த கால் வரல்கள் இருக்குல்ல அதை வச்சு அப்படி அடித்து அப்படி பிடிக்கிறது. Perched on the shoulders அப்படின்னா அந்த மேலே கால் அப்படி வச்சு அந்த ஷோல்டர் பண்ணிக்கிறது. ஓகே, ஷ்ரட். The lady was covered by a shroud. ஷ்ரட்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? துணி, ஒரு கிளாத்தை வச்சு நம்ம கவர் பண்றது, அதுக்கு பேர் தான் அது ஷ்ரட். ஓகே, the relationship was snapped. Snappedனா கட். The relationship, அவங்க வந்து when he was given a separate room, little more distance between grandmother and the child. So the snap அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? வந்து கட் ஆகுறது அப்படின்றது அர்த்தம். Pallor. What is the meaning of pallor? A pale appearance. Okay, when the lady died, there was a pale appearance on her face, so that showed she died. That is the meaning of the word pallor. Okay, hope you understood all these lessons, all the lesson completely, and the meanings of these words, new words. Okay, every day you will have to write 2 or 3 sentences using this new word so that you will be able to improve your vocabulary, children. Okay, thank you.